A speech a speech to remember, and D. Jacobs.
Hmm. There are three signs of old age. The first is losing your memory, and I don't remember what the other two are. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. This is a speech to help you remember that I hope you will not forget. There is one simple key to remember anything and everything, and I am going to tell you what it is. Unfortunately, it is not something they teach you in school. Most of us dreaded having to memorize information in school when cramming for a test. Wouldn't it have been great if someone had told us the secret to memory to make that memorization easy? I would do an experiment to show you that your memory is actually much better than you think. To save time, I'm going to describe it, and you will have to imagine doing it. I could quickly show you 30 different images with a variety of subjects and styles, but only letting you see each image for half a second each. Then, a half an hour later, I could show you a set of 30 pictures of two pictures, where one was in the previous set and one was not. Most people can easily distinguish which of the new pictures they had seen earlier and which they had not with great accuracy, even a half an hour later, having only viewed the original image for a fraction of a second. This does not work nearly as well for words, if you did 25 words, or 25 numbers, but the pictures people do very well at. The secret that this test exposes is that our memory for images is quite good, better than we expect, and better than remembering words or numbers. So the trick to easily remember anything is to turn it into an image. On top of that, if the image is unusual or humorous, it'll work even better. Here's an example. Let's say you need to remember these 10 words, which I just randomly picked. This technique will work much better for longer lists, but I'm keeping it short as a demonstration. We are going to create a story with humorous and unusual images involving each of the words. There is no right answer, and what you come up with will probably work better for you. For me, I thought of the following. I see a bright red apple, and chewing his way out of the center of the apple is a giant mouse. I can see his two front teeth chomping the apple as he emerges. But now that he's out of the apple, he's not standing on anything. So he starts to fall into a swimming pool filled with water. He's a giant mouse, so when he hits the water, it makes a big splash. The water of the splash goes over the edge of the pool and drenches the one tree, which is next to the pool. The tree starts to shiver because it's cold from the water. But fortunately, the sun comes out to warm up the tree with his largesse. When I look up at the sun, I can see his smiling face, but I also see 2 feet sticking out below him, and there is one big shoe on one foot. He starts swinging the foot with the shoe on it, and that kicks a huge mug that starts spinning around and around and falling down to earth. It might break if it fell on the ground, but fortunately, it lands on a bed, which springs it back up into the air. But the mug falls a second time, and this time the mug comes down and lands on top of my car. I'm picturing a gigantic mug that is half the size of the car, so a huge section of it is sticking out of the top of my car. I can even see the handle of the mug. I'm surprised that after this acrobatic feat of the mug, there is still hot chocolate in it. How do I know it's still hot? I stick my finger in it to test it, and picture myself licking my finger to test it. If you want to remember things in order, then think of a place you know well. For most people, this could be their house, but it is good to have a number of different places that you are familiar with to remember different lists or longer lists. This could include a home you grew up in, or a walk around your neighborhood, or a familiar shopping center. Any location you are very familiar with. You make up a story, like we just did, but this time visualize each item in the next location of your house or whatever place you're using as you walk through it. For example, the sun from my previous story might be sitting on the dining room table. The images themselves will usually be sufficient, but to make them more memorable, you want to make them unusual or humorous. Using violence or sexually suggestive images is very effective for this, but just keep it to yourself, since this list is just for you. No one else needs to know. This technique is not new or cutting edge. It is not something that was recently developed. These techniques have been used for centuries. But because the printing press and wider knowledge of reading and writing in modern times have made the techniques less needed, they have fallen into disuse by the general public. We know that ancient Greeks used these techniques because we have found their writings that describe them. It is also the source of many words and phrases in English. Have you ever heard the phrase, "in the first place"? And the Greek word topic actually means location, because this is how they remembered all the ideas they wanted to discuss in their speech. Each idea was remembered in a different location, i.e., a topic. How many words do you remember from my previous story example? You probably remember many of them so clearly you don't even need me to confirm you were right. And all you did was listen to me tell a story. So the next time you are trying to remember all the topics in your speech, or anything else you are trying to remember, just remember this one thing. Use an image to remember it. And to help you remember this, picture yourself hitting me over the head with a framed picture, and my head is tearing through the canvas. Toastmaster of the day.